Hi, Paul with Diode Dynamics taking a look at the headlights on the 2015 and up WRX and STi. Now from the factory, both the base model halogen and the limited model LED headlights come with C-shaped lights in the headlights themselves, but these really aren't very bright. We've designed and manufactured a replacement LED panel here in St. Louis, Missouri. This is going to offer a much brighter cool white appearance as well as a brilliant amber turn signal to replace that dim factory C lights. Now the installation will require opening the headlights, but luckily these are pretty easy compared to some other headlights on the markets. We won't really need to use an oven, we'll just need to heat them up a little bit. The tools we'll need are just a couple of screwdrivers and then a heat gun or a good hair dryer. Just something to heat it up a little bit. Let's get started. So we're going to open up this base model, but the STi that we've already got open is exactly the same. We're going to start by removing the screws that hold it together all the way around. There's just 5 screws. Make sure you go all the way around removing them all. So now we just have to remove the lens from the black base of the lamp. You'll see that there's a bunch of clips holding it together, and if you'd like, you can go ahead and start pulling them apart. We're going to use a hot air gun, or you can use a hair dryer to just give it a little bit more heat in order to allow a little bit more play as we work it open. Again, you might not even have to heat it up. The adhesive that Subaru is using in these lamps is very pliable even at room temperature. So we're just going to heat up a little bit as we go. Not too hot to where we can't even touch it. But then you want to grab your flathead screwdriver and just start at one of the clips, pulling it over and to the side. Work your way in between the black base and the lens and just pry out a little bit as you go. And you'll see that the clear lens will just start sliding right out. Now we need to remove the bezel from the clear polycarbonate lens. The toughest part about this is going to be this tacky gray glue still all around the edge. So we're going to start by removing the screws once again. They're just Phillips. Now if you are planning on using a new butyl rubber sealant to reseal your headlamps, you can go ahead and start taking off this gray adhesive. If this is nice and even and if you can keep it that way, you shouldn't have any problem reusing it. But I know it's a popular option to replace it with just some standard butyl rubber, which is usually sold as windshield sealant at most auto parts stores. That's what's normally used to hold the headlamps together, but you will need heat to reseal if you choose that option. Now we've just got the bezel here, and you'll see that your C light LED is going to sit underneath that existing reflector. So we need to unclip this. We'll flip this over, make sure you have a nice soft surface to work on. You'll see there's clear material with that reflector in a bunch of clips on the back. So we need to unclip those all the way around. You can really start wherever you want, but you're just going to squeeze the clips together and move them to the side, and then push down in order to release the reflector piece. It's one of these things where they all just have to be a little unclipped before anything will move. So just go one at a time as you can. There's one right here as well. Push them as far out as you can, and you'll see it'll start removing from the other side. So just continue to unclip. Again, be careful, you don't want to damage the chrome finish unless you are repainting them, which would be a good time to do that if you want to change the color inside your light. There we go, got that unclipped. And we got 2 more of the small ones up top here. All right, and once you have all those clips out, you should be able to just pull straight out. There we go. Again, they're really going to hold everything in there. So just go from the other side and push them out if it's giving you any resistance. There we go. You'll see, there we go, it falls right out. Now what we need to do is set the C light into place. We're going to run the wire. This is the base model, so it's got a nice hole right here where that factory bulb was. Run your wire through there, and then just set the sea light into position. This should hug right around the lines pretty nicely, and it is quite flexible. So once it's in place, we're just going to set it in there, and then we'll clip this back in to hold everything down. So when putting back, we're going to make sure all those clips are aligned at the same time. Just like we had to start them all to get them out, we've got to make sure they're all lined up and started in clipping this back in properly. So make sure all those clips are in place, and then you can just start clipping in. Oh, did we miss that guy? So I can miss that bottom one there. So you either unclip it or let's move to the side a little bit to get it clipped down. Now it might be a little tight on this bottom edge and the top edge where it gets really narrow, but you really shouldn't have any issue getting it completely clipped down. Now we can reinstall the bezel into the lens. Now we're about ready to mount this back in the lens, but before we do, make sure to take a good look and use a brand new clean microfiber cloth to wipe off any small fingerprints you might have left on the chrome reflector while working on it. You want to make sure that you don't have anything left over there. Once you're happy with that, go ahead and line up the bezel into the lens. Again, we're going to start with the inner side first, then clip it down into place. Once again, watch that glue if you haven't removed it. And then when we get to this top edge here, want to make sure that that clip goes all the way down into the plastic. Again, you might have to pull this glue out of the way a little bit for it to seat completely in place. There's also a couple of alignment pins right here and right here. You want to make sure lined up, and then you can go ahead and reinstall those screws. Okay, now we just have to put the headlight back together. Now once again, we're going to make sure everything's nice and clean in the headlamp. If you touch anything, make sure to use a new microfiber cloth to wipe it off. Then we're going to line up our lens into the housing again. Now if you kept all the glue in the same place and it's pretty even throughout, you can reuse it. Like I said, you can use a butyl glue solution that you can find at any auto parts store if you'd like, putting it in the groove and then heating to reseal. But when you're ready to reseal it, just put the wire through the existing sea light bulb hole on the base model WRX, or you'll use the grommet on the STi. And then line everything up, going outer edge first here. Once again, this glue is sticky, so make sure you line it up and take it slow. But you'll see that it'll all fit right into place without any heat required. You should be able to get all those clips lined up and into place. You can hear it just snapping all together here. There we go. Plenty of clips all the way around this thing. The glue does not hold it very permanently, but the clips do. And then you'll want to make sure to put those screws back in place as well. Now let's take a look at the last bit of wiring we need to do. Now to finish the wiring here, you'll need to grab the driver that comes with the kit on either side, and first plug the driver into the wire going to your sea light. You'll see this is 3 wires, amber, white, and ground going to that LED. Then for the input of the driver, if you purchased the additional DRL harness, you'll plug it in to your factory headlamp connector and just plug in the 4-pin here to take care of everything, along with the turn signal connector lower in the vehicle. But to just connect the parking light and turn signal, we're going to use the included pigtail connector here, which has these male connectors. We're going to use the included T-tap connectors on your existing wires here for the sea light. Now on the limited model, this is inside the headlamp, but the colors are the same. We're going to put one on the red wire here, just snap it over, use a pair of pliers to lock this down in place. For the red wire, we're going to connect it to our white wire here. That's our parking light signal. Just slide it in to make the connection. Then we'll also need grounds. So do the same thing on the black wire here. Again, on the limited model, it's inside the lamp. And then use a pair of pliers to clip it together. And then connect it to the black wire in the pigtail. Now for the turn signal, you will need to do that on the vehicle. It's down by the lower turn signal, of course, and you'll connect the amber wire here to the blue wire in your turn signal with one more of the T-tap connectors. Now you can reinstall into the vehicle and test everything out. Once everything is wired up and back in your vehicle, you'll have a nice, cool white sea light that's much brighter than the factory. You also have the option to add a DRL signal for double the output on white during the day. Thanks to our multi-stage PWM dimming, the amber is even brighter, with 4 times the brightness of the parking light setting. This allows it to be visible even in broad daylight. Once you turn off your turn signal, it'll switch back to that cool white appearance. You can find this product online at diodedynamics.com or use our dealer locator to find it at a dealer near you. Thanks for watching.